But once it's installed, it's that simple. Now our website is pretty.
Now, yeah,
And
it's
you've now
shaping
got-
up, yeah. So now the next thing
Yeah.
is populating it, putting in content. As a creative, one of the most important things that you need in order to communicate to your clients, both locally and globally, is a website. Today, we've got one of the best web creators in Zimbabwe, Chamunorwa Mararike from Drift Studios. Chamu, how are you doing?
I'm good. One of the best. You flatter me, Tinashe. Thanks a lot. It's good to be here.
Awesome, man. So, tell us, what are the benefits of having a website as a creative?
Well, as a creative, the first port of call, traditionally, you'd give someone your business card and then, they would call you and you'd discuss the business. But now, with the speed of business these days, it's much easier to just refer someone to your website, or someone finds your website through whatever marketing channel you've put out there, and they learn all about you. So by the time they contact you, it's about, we want ABC done. And you save a lot of time. So it's really about efficiency and just getting your name out there, because the first place people look is always the internet.
So what are some of the essential things that a creative needs to have in their website that they need to communicate?
First of all, I think what work have you done is kind of the biggest questions clients have. So your portfolio is very essential to that. Also, just learning about who you are and your background, whether you're an individual freelancer or you've got a company, a registered company that you trade under. People want to know who these people are, what their history is, what their qualifications are. So it's all about providing information. But the portfolio, I think, is very central to a creative's website.
Awesome. So Chamu, you've got something. You got something for us today. You got something very special, actually. It's a free download. At the end of this video, you can get a description down below. But take us through what you need to do to create your own website.
All right, sure, man. Let me just quickly share my screen here. So what I have here is a presentation that I'm going to rush through. Confirm you can see my screen, right?
Yeah, we can see you.
Okay, great. I'm going to rush through it, but it's going to be available on the link in the description, and anyone who's watching can go through it. So what I'm going to go through is, first of all, the different types of web professionals. And the first type of web professional is a UX, UI designer, meaning user interface and user experience designer. And what they do is focus on the designing of how the website looks and how people interact with it, just visually. They don't do any actual builds necessarily. They don't code. They just design it. And there's certain apps that help you do that, such as Adobe XD and Sketch, if you're an Apple user. The second type of developer is a web developer, the second type of web professional. And they actually take what the UI designer has made and then convert it into something the computer can understand and that's visible on the internet. So the actual coding, the management of the project, the implementation of a content management system like WordPress or Joomla. And a lot of these words seem like gibberish, but as you go through the document, you'll kind of see how everything kind of works together. And if you're like day one, I want to start a website, this is a good place to start. And the final thing is a web professional is a full stack web designer. And these guys are the do-it-all kind of guys. And that's what I do, and not necessarily because I want to. I'd love to work with a team where I've got a UI designer and I've got a coder and I've got a project manager, but Zim, the current situation doesn't allow you to build such big teams necessarily. So I've had to become what's called a full stack web developer, where I design the site, I build the site, and I do any programming behind the website.
So quick question before you move on. As a designer, as like a creative, can you design your own website and then hand it over to a developer to kind of code everything in?
Yeah, I think what people have to do is work with what you're most comfortable with. So if you're comfortable with designing the site, do that, and then get into an arrangement with somebody, especially in the creative community in Zimbabwe. It's becoming tighter and tighter knit. because we're realizing that nobody survives on an island. So there are a lot of web developers who are able to convert your vision for the website into something that can be put online. So that would be a good way to do it, yeah. So the next thing I want to talk about is a lot of people get intimidated. It's an intimidating thing to get into when you're just starting out. So I want to talk about how it's not in the tools. There are literally thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of tools that help build a website throughout the process. So if you just try and go online and say how to build a website, you're going to find like dozens of different responses because there are different ways of doing it. But I just want to, just as a form of guidance, just say that there are just three fundamental things that you have to learn. Like these are have to if you want to get into this professionally. And that's HTML5, which is the core. It's this how to build the skeleton of the website. That's what the computer understands, alongside CSS3 and JavaScript. And CSS defines the visual elements of the website. HTML is the skeleton. So you look at it like a body where you've got the skeleton of a human being and the muscles, and then you've got the skin. So CSS is the skin and HTML5 is the skeleton and the muscle. And then JavaScript is all your internal organs that allow you to function as a human being.
Okay.
So yeah, this is basically our web design process, and I'm now getting into the process part of it. And discovery and planning is the first thing. You just have to know what it is you're trying to achieve, or what your client wants to achieve through the website. Is it sales? Is it a visual presence? Like what is the purpose of the site? And then the creative and the build is where you kind of go back and forth between iterations to say, does this look work? How do these colors work? Does this, structure work? And then the content development is something that's often overlooked, but it's very important to say, content is king. What are we actually talking about on the website? What value are we giving our visitors when they come to the website? And then there's a review and testing phase where you go back and forth, and there are different tools that I mentioned a bit earlier, and they're also in the end of the presentation, where you can do what's called A/B testing. You can do surveys. You can do closed groups where you get people's feedback, because at the end of the day, you're building the website for the consumer, not yourself. And that's something that a lot of people don't realize. Even as creatives, you want to make a website that's cool for you, but you're not thinking about how your customer is going to experience the website. And then the go live is the final stage where you take it online, but it goes back and forth between step 4 and 5 because you're always trying to improve your website.
Generally speaking, how long does this process take?
It depends on the complexity of the website, so it can take anywhere from 2 weeks to 2 months, based on the complexity, because some websites have a lot of moving parts, a lot of forms, a lot of data that they're inputting and processing. So it depends how complex the website is. And also there's, I guess, the human factor. It depends how easy it is to work with certain people. I think a lot of people often forget that we all don't get along the same as people, just like in society. So sometimes you and your client won't quickly understand each other, and it takes time to understand your various objectives. What I want to do now is give people like a practical example of how a website can be built. This is, like I said earlier, one of many ways. So I'm going to be using a system called Wordpress. And just to get started, in the presentation, there's like a quick how to install WordPress and what's called XAMPP on your computer, and then you log in. And once you're done with this process, you should end up with something like this, which is just how WordPress is installed. So I'm meant to do this in 5 minutes. Are we going to time it, Tinashe?
Go for it. Go for it. Let's see if you can do it.
All right. You can see the screen? All right, so I'm gonna go. All right, so once you've gone through the process of installing your local host and your WordPress, you're gonna end up with this basic kind of website, which has clearly nothing to do with you. So what we want to do is go to the back end, which is basically where all the magic happens, by typing wp-admin, And then this is the back end of WordPress. And this is where everything to do with how your website appears and functions can be controlled. And you go to your appearance themes. And what a theme is, it defines how the website looks. So this is the current active one. You can see how similar it looks to it's basically that. And we don't want to use that because it's trash. So there's a free place you can get websites called justfreethemes.com. You can find a theme that you like, preview it with the live demo, and pick one. And they mostly function pretty much as I'm about to show you. So you choose a file. I've already kind of downloaded a theme, which I'm going to install here, which is called Bulk. Not to be confused with Hulk. I'd actually already installed it. I'm going to quickly just delete it. Alright, so what you do, you install the theme, and then you click on Activate, and that will have the theme appear at the front end, right? Still not very pretty, but the cool thing about WordPress is that a lot of these themes come with a way to quickly customize it to a look that you want. So what we do, we go to the bulk thing under Appearance. We install this plugin called Elementor. And Elementor allows you to lay out the elements you want on your website very easily. A lot of it is pretty click, and you go to the next thing once you get used to it. So once Elementor is installed, this is chowing into my 5 minutes. See, you click on Activate, and then to actually tell you create your first page, which is what we want to do. And this will be our first page. So we want to exit to the dashboard. This is the page, and we'll call it the home page. And then on the page attributes, we put Elementor page, and then we publish that, right? And then when you say edit with Elementor, it takes us to the front, pretty plain looking. We click on this little folder here, and then there's what are called templates. And these templates under pages have various different, you see you've got a restaurant website, an online course, there's a lot of different looks. So we're going to look for one that kind of works for us as a creative. And there are little icons written pro on those. Those are some that you have to buy, but many of them are free. And they're all good. So I'm just going to pick this one, for example. And you have to create an account with Elementor to use these themes, which I've already done. So I'm just logging in, but normally you have to create an account. And the reason they do this is so that people don't abuse the service. Because a lot of people would then start hacking it and trying to download the themes and doing all sorts of weird things. But once it's installed, it's that simple. Now our website is pretty.
Now, it's shaping up, So now the next thing is populating it, putting in content.
Yeah, and now you just customize it, and it's as easy as it's almost like you're using Microsoft Word. I am a designer, I design cool stuff, and then here you want to change the graphic, you click on it, choose image, and then upload a file. I already created a little graphic that'll go there. And you can use, in the presentation, there are tools that you can use to create these graphics for free. Here you've got an icon that you can put or not, whatever you want. I'm going to put a cloud because I love things in the sky. Here you can say, our services. So you can see how then easy it becomes to customize everything.
I see that.
Website development. And within a day, once you kind of get used to the framework, you can start creating um, very cool websites. Like you've been doing it for decades.
Yeah, because this literally this took you less than 5 minutes. Like you wanted to do this in 5 minutes. You actually took less than 5 minutes.
Yeah. So now just the customizing part and adding all your content. So this is, if you remember, on the stages of development. This is where your content becomes important. And that's why we have a step specifically for planning content, because a lot of this stuff I wouldn't really know what to put if I didn't have the content prepared on the side. So once the content is prepared, it just makes the process a whole lot simpler. You're literally just copy pasting text, and it becomes super easy. What else do we do? Social media management. Just put the little share icon there, and then if you right click, it has a menu that's specific to Elementor as well that gives you options. So there's a lot of here you can have customer tutorials. So if I click update just to see what we've done here, and then view page, and there are all the changes. I'm a designer, I design cool stuff.
And this is now on, this is actually live now.
Yeah, this is actually how the website will look.
Yeah.
And then you might want to do other stuff like add in your logo here, which you do under customize, because the logo comes under WordPress's default system, and it's something that you'll figure out as you go through the various tutorials. And I want to put my logo there. Stretch that out. This is a cropping tool, and there's the logo, and then the tagline. We don't want that. Let's just keep it like that. And then here on the menu part, you can go to menus and say, you want to go to homepage. You want to make that homepage. So this is one of those situations. I know a lot of people are scared to kind of fiddle with things, but once it's running on your computer, fiddle with it all you want. Break it, mess it up, and the more you do that, the more you learn stuff. But just from a basic perspective, this is how a website is done. And as a creative, you can, in all this time we have during this lockdown, certainly you can learn how to do this, if anything.
That's awesome, man.
So my contact details are also at the back of the presentation we're giving. If anybody has any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. And yeah,
that's phenomenal. Thank you so much for this lesson. Like, I'm sure, like, if anyone was interested in web development, that like not only your PDF but just this lesson alone is enough to get someone at least with the ball rolling.
I hope so. It was going very fast, and I know a lot of people missed a lot of stuff that I was doing. But if you go through the presentation, there should be a lot of stuff explained there. And also, I'm available. I got nothing but time lately. So, you can holler at me on WhatsApp or send me an email, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
All right. So, like mentioned, the link to this PDF is down in the description below.
Yeah.
As well as the link to your own website. So yeah, we look forward to getting to chat with you again. And once again, this is Chamunorwa Mararike from Drift Studio, and this is the call-in signing off.
Alright, cool, man. Thanks a lot.
Thanks.